Welcome to our YouTube channel on success and women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon.
Welcome to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today, as promised, we're going to talk about goal setting. So before we get started, Andrew's got her tip of the week.
Well, it is January and the ice and the snow is coming, and you wake up in the morning and you see your windshields full of ice and snow. Well, I learned this tip that if you keep a spray bottle of vinegar and water and you spray it on your windshields, that it'll just start to melt the snow right away, and it'll make your job a lot easier.
Wow, that's a great tip. And that's easy enough to have in your car.
Exactly. Or even, in your garage, or, somewhere by the door when you first walk out in the morning, and just spray away. And
did they say the mixture, how much vinegar to water?
No, they didn't really say. So I guess you're going to have to wing it or figure it out. I'm sure, the more vinegar you put, the more it'll eat away at the ice. So
right.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll help everyone.
Anyway, happy 2024, everyone.
Yay!
2023 may have been a good year or a bad year. I know I had a lot of personal challenges in 2023. I'm glad to see the year is over, and I can look forward to a great 2024. So hopefully it's the same for you. So we're going to talk about goal setting. And as we mentioned when we finished off the year, we didn't want to get into resolutions because there is a difference. And resolutions, I find, are very difficult to keep going. A goal, if it's something that's worthwhile to you, might be something that we can actually help you achieve. And throughout the year, Andrea and I are going to give you ideas of how you can do that. But we wanted to talk in general now about the goal and how you come up with the goal that you think is important for you. And one of the things that Andrea mentioned in the last episode, and she was telling you about her accomplishment in 2023 of being able to reach her target weight. And that was fantastic because she had set the goal. But one of the things that Andrea did was she had an app where she was actually monitoring and checking in every day on her app and going to a weekly class. The reason I'm bringing that up is because when you set a goal, if you don't have, I'm going to say, a class to go to like Andrea did weekly, you might want to have an accountability person. This would be somebody that you could check in with on a weekly basis or a daily basis, depending on how you set it up. This is not something that you're going to spend a lot of time. So even if you have an accountability person and you want to do it daily, it might be a 1-minute phone call, a 1-minute text to tell them your accomplishment for the day or the week.
Not to interrupt you, but along those lines, while I was doing Weight Watchers, I had a friend in the States that wanted to also lose weight, but she didn't want to spend the money on the app and the program. So she would ask me questions and I would help her. But every week when I checked in with my weight, she checked in with her weight with me. So that kept her accountable. So even if you might find it's financially stressful to actually join Weight Watchers, hook up with a friend, together do it. You don't have to either one of you be on Weight Watchers, just
that's what the accountability is all
about.
Have
somebody to be accountable for. Like they say, when you join a gym or you go walking, have a partner, have a buddy, because it matters.
It does. And Andrea, mentioning that when you go walking and stuff, I live in the city and I still haven't found a friend actually in the city since I moved out of my house 3 years ago, where I can have that person to actually go walking with, because I am a person who actually likes to do the walking, but I don't like doing it by myself. I find it boring. And even though I do it, I go and I listen to audiobooks. It's not the same as
No.
having it with a friend. And I'm still in the area looking that one day I hope to have somebody to do this with.
But isn't that funny though? I have the same issue. So my sisters who live far away would love to do that too. And it's the same with you. You and I could do it. Like the people who want to do it live too far away to do it. And you
From
can't
each
seem to
other.
find somebody
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, you know. But
Yeah.
anyways, hopefully if that's something you want, you'll be lucky enough to find a walking buddy or, you know, a buddy to do something with.
Yeah. And actually, you just made me think, and that's why thinking outside the box sometimes also works. It maybe what you do is like you did with the person in the States, they checked in with you every week. Well, maybe when you want to go on a walking thing, you walk in your neighborhood, I walk in mine, but we're on FaceTime or something just
Oh,
to keep each other company because I just need, I find that walking is not a big deal as long as I'm talking with somebody and I
right.
just enjoy I'll say the
Makes
fresh air and
makes the time go quicker.
it does make it go quicker.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's like
So,
on a long drive. You know,
yes,
when you drive up to Sudbury by yourself, I'm sure it seems like forever, but when you and I go together, it's wham,
yeah,
we're here already because
that's
we
right.
are nonstop talking.
Yeah,
It
it's
just makes the trip go quicker and way more enjoyable.
way more enjoyable. Absolutely. And so that's why when you're getting into the goal, but so the accountability person, I think, you should think about, but again, a like-minded person. Because if you have
Yes.
this really big, hairy, audacious goal, and you got friends that are like, I'll say Debbie Downers that basically just say, oh, you'll never get that, or you'll never have a chance, or who do you think you are? You don't
Yeah.
have the education, you don't have this or that, whatever. That's not a good accountability
No,
person.
that person's not for you.
That person is not for you. And one of the things that you really have to establish first is why. Why do you want to accomplish that goal? You could say, well, I want to make more money. Why do you want to make more money? Well, I want to buy a bigger house. Why do you want to buy a bigger house? Well, because I have 4 kids and we just feel like we're on top of each other. And if we had a bigger house, we'd have more space and we'd be able to do a lot more things, whatever. And you could go on and on with the why. Then, of course, if you want more money, well, then how much money? How much money do you need to go from where you're living now to the place that you want to go? Okay. So if that's the goal to get that particular house, but you got to keep asking the why, the why, the why, the why, because money in general is not a good motivator. Money is not a good goal. To say, yes, I want 5 million in the bank. Okay, but why? Well, then it would give me peace of mind. I wouldn't have to worry and stress that I'm not going to make my monthly bill. Well, why? And go on and on because you've got to narrow it down to what it will be to motivate yourself.
Right.
Because Andrea, I'm sure when you were doing your Weight Watchers, when you were going through and the why kept coming up because I want to reach a certain goal weight. Why? Because I want to fit into my clothes and I want to feel better about myself. And that helps you when you can answer the why, it keeps you on track. But
Exactly.
you had to have or develop new habits.
Oh,
Because
yes. Oh, yes. A new mindset and new habits. And that's another thing. When you are goal setting, like a lot of people will say, okay, this year my goal is to learn an instrument, learn a new language, quit smoking, volunteer. And that's all great and good. But before you actually just do it, you need to research. You need to research what's involved. And is it doable? Is it affordable? Is there places in my area that I can volunteer? What do I have that I can offer to volunteer? And do I have the time to volunteer and commit? And then do that research first because you might find that, wow, playing an instrument, I'm going to have to practice every day. I got to spend $100 a week. Oh, no, 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 I'm not doing that. Don't just jump in. Just, do your research. And then if you think it's doable, have a plan. And so that's what I did. At first I was like, okay, the online course is cheaper. Doing the workshop at it is more expensive. Do I want to spend that money every month? And then my girlfriend, who is a lifetimer, said, it's worth it. Try it. So I trusted her and I did it, and it worked out. And, it helps. So you have to make sure that it's doable for you and that you can sustain that
And
in
you
order
were
to reach your
committed.
goal.
You were
Yeah.
committed because I remember when we talked about, different things, and you'd always say, no, remember, on Tuesday mornings, that's my weigh-in. And you had the commitment to say, I'm not deviating from that. This is
Right.
what I've signed up for because this is for me and my goal.
Right. And there were weeks, and a lot of the ladies there admitted it, that you didn't do well. You didn't eat proper, whatever, and you knew the scale was going to reflect that. So you make an excuse why you couldn't go that Tuesday for weigh-in, because you think, well, next week I'll really work hard and it won't be so bad. But I never did that. I knew when I was up, I knew when I was down, I could feel it, but I always went and faced the music. And that makes you even. So when I saw, yes, the scale did go up, then I knew my goal was to get rid of those and maybe another extra pound, so it was always in my mind, and like I said, committed. I was committed, and win or lose, I was going. And a lot of people make excuses, and that's for everything, when things happen in life and go wrong, you have setbacks, we blame the environment, we blame people in our lives. But you know what? You can't do that. You are accountable for yourself. And like you say, I could have said, when you said, well, I want to do a meeting on Tuesday morning, I could have said, oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to go to Weight Watchers. I'll do the meeting. I could have made that excuse, but
Especially if you had gone up that week.
exactly. So you must be committed and face the music, and it helps you. It really
It
does.
does.
Like when you actually see the scale gone up, and you think, oh, geez, what did I do wrong? And sometimes at the meeting, I mean, I knew pretty much what I did wrong, but at the meetings, they encourage you. They say, oh, it's okay, just get back up on the horse and get going, so they give you encouragement, and you don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to have an accountability person as well,
Yeah.
because they will keep you on track. Because if you have to call in and say, I didn't, okay, then you've got to ask yourself, what did you make more important than that goal?
Right.
Because if
Right.
you give up, like Andrea, if she gave up going on a Tuesday, what did she make more important than what she had set out herself for herself?
Right.
All of a sudden, what? Going, I'll say, grocery shopping at 10:30 instead of going to her meeting, because she knew that, she was going to have to face the music and people would know that she put on a pound or two. The fact
But
that you can't.
actually, but you know what, actually, Linda, I have to say, like, if this program, when you get on the scale, it's very private. So you can share that with the group, or you don't have to share with the group. Nobody has to know whether you were up or down.
Oh,
Just yourself, and of course the check-in person that's checking you in, and that's what's great about it. You don't have to feel ashamed, and they always say this is a safe place. Nobody's judging. We've all been there, So I always shared when I went up, when I went down. I said, "Oh darn," and everybody knew where I was at. So, but some women know they don't want anybody around them when they get on that scale.
oh,
So, but and that's another thing. We talked about that in the class last week, because when they were asking me this and this and this and that, and I was saying about the why, and one of the ladies said, well, some women just don't think they're worthy of accomplishing their goals or their whys. And I said, but why? I said, if that's how you're feeling, that you're not worthy, then that's a whole nother issue that
Yes.
you should be dealing with, right? So that's another thing we can talk about knowing your value, knowing your worth.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because we have in the past, Andrea, talked about the mindset, and it starts here.
Yeah.
Nowhere else. It
Right.
starts here. And why you would ever feel embarrassed, ashamed, not worthy, whatever, no matter what the outside world might tell you, it starts here. And
Right.
it's one of the things I have to go, and I haven't mentioned Joel in a long time, so I feel justified in doing it. But Joel always says, even though I came from my parents, so I came from my mother's womb, I came through my mother, but I am a child of the Most High God, because
Yes.
He's the one who knows your worth, and your
Yeah.
worth is greater than what you believe yourself.
Right.
And you can't let your environment or your extenuating circumstances put you in a pigeonhole of you thinking that you're not good enough, or you're not
That's right.
worthy, or you
That's
you
right.
don't belong, or whatever. We all belong, because we
Yes.
are children of the Most High God, and we
Yes.
are all equal to believe that we can have and achieve anything we want. And He wants you to
To have
achieve
it.
anything that you want.
Exactly. He wants you to um, love yourself as he loves us,
Yes,
and he wants us to be abundant and prosperous and, worthy of all things. And
absolutely.
so, yeah, that's Joel's very good at lifting your spirits and inspiring you.
And what's interesting is that he'll talk about the fact that sometimes people will say, "Oh, I just happened upon your channel, and it was like your message was directed right at me." And
Yeah.
that's how a lot of us feel, is
Yeah.
that the message is directed right at them, because sometimes we can be made to feel, and I'm going to use the word Andrea used in the last episode, invisible. I feel that sometimes, but I'm not invisible to the big guy. Okay.
Hey,
And I know that he has my best interest and my best heart. And sometimes when I'm faced with these challenges, it's to make me stronger and better, and
right.
to get towards my goal, so that I appreciate the journey as well as,
Yeah.
getting the accomplishment.
Right. And what he says, and also Joyce Myers, is that you have to go through certain things to
You
get to
do.
the end game. And because the end game, going through, teaches you to be humble, to be kind. If you were just born with all the money in the world, where some people are, they don't appreciate what other people go through in life. Life is difficult for most people. They money's tight. Relationships go wrong. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong in life, and the upper crust, I want to say, I don't know if they understand the reality of how everyday people live. And right now it seems to be very hard because everything's skyrocketing in prices. And I was at the grocery store the other day, and for the little bit that I got, I couldn't believe the price. And I thought to myself, how does my niece with 5 children, or my friend that's divorced and with little kids, how do they do it?
Yeah.
What's happening in this world? Do we not care about each other anymore? Like, what's happening to the human race? Anyways, we're off topic.
Yeah. I was going to say it's easy to do, but it's getting back to the goal setting, but knowing and understanding your why. And not only that, but you got to look at yourself, because most people, when they set goals, they fail. Why? Again, ask yourself the goal that you want. Is it something that you really want? And what do you need to do? Which means find out, write an action plan of what you need to do. Now,
Right.
with Andrea having an app for her weight loss, it helped her, guide her to, she's got to drink more water. She's got to get enough sleep. She's got to I'll say, watch your intake of certain foods.
They
When
tell
you're
you,
doing your,
they tell you how many points you can have a day, and they supply recipes and give you ideas. So it's a plan. It's a
right,
plan
it's an
of
actual
action.
plan.
I know what
And
to
that,
do.
right. And so that's what you have to do depending on what you do. So say it is, for example, just say you make $50,000 a year in income and you would like to get to $100,000. You have to know why you need that. And you might say, because the cost of living is so high, I want to make sure I have money for my kids' education. You know,
Yes.
I want them to be able to go into sports or activities. I need that money for
Right.
this. And that's fine. If that's strong enough, then when you set your action plan, you have to make sure that what are you making more important if you're not working on that goal? What
Right.
are you making more important?
The
Then are you
couch,
forgetting about your kids? Are
the
you,
couch,
yes,
the TV,
right.
going out
You know,
partying. Yeah.
absolutely. And that's the reason most people fail, because their why is not strong enough. They don't
Yeah.
have that action plan.
The
So
drive,
you,
the drive.
the drive. And so you got to develop really good habits. That's
Yes.
really important. So if you raise your standards, you're going to change your life.
Hmm.
It's going to happen. It's like when Andrew says, when you smile and you give cheer to somebody else, it's going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Well, when you raise your own standards, you're going to automatically change your life. Don't keep yourself pigeonholed into anything that somebody else put you in.
Right.
You have the freedom to choose what it is that you want. But write down right now where you're at, and then write down where you want to go, and then do the steps that you need to take. And whatever those steps are, try to include an accountability person in that, because it will help you stay on goal if you know that you're being encouraged, because you're letting them know, this is what I want to accomplish today.
Right.
The next day you tell them, did you or did you not? If you didn't, this is why. Not excuses. Don't make
Exactly.
something else more important. Don't have the excuses. So one of the things that I had read was the one thing. Maybe don't come up with 10 goals. Maybe come up with one. Andrea came up with one goal that she really wanted to accomplish, and she can say, without a doubt, by the end of the year, she accomplished it because she was focused on the one thing.
Right.
So you might want to pick up the book. It will help you get focused on what that goal is going to be for you.
Right.
And make that the most important thing with small actionable steps, because along the way, you want to say, I did it.
Yeah.
Have gratitude for all the accomplishments that you do to get to that final goal. And I know that Andrew and I set very big goals last year about how many followers we want to have. Well, we didn't accomplish it, but we're not giving up. And
We're not
you know,
discouraged.
we're not discouraged, because every failure is another step of something that we know that didn't work, that we're going to change going into the new year. And so we're looking forward, because the fact is we did grow from when we started
Yes.
2 years ago, and we're
Yes.
going to continue to do that. And so when we set our goals, we'll also be setting them with more steps on things that might make the difference in what we need to do to accomplish our goal, and making that, I'll say, important,
Yes.
whatever it is. And so you have to come up with it. So, they come up with these things that they call, you'll hear this a lot, the SMART goals. Okay. It's make sure that you're specific in whatever the goal is. Be specific. So I'm just going to use, for example, 2 examples. One for money. If you want to increase your income by $50,000 a year, that's very specific, because you'll know at the end of the year if you've made $50,000 more.
Right.
If, for example, it's a weight loss, you want to weigh, not lose 10 pounds, you want to weigh a certain weight.
Yes.
That's specific. But it has to be measurable. Well, if you've made more money, that's very measurable, because you'll see it in your bank account. If you go, for example, on your weight loss, of course, you're going to see it on the scale. That's measurable. Make sure that you do that. Make sure that it's achievable or attainable, okay? That it's something that you can do.
Yes.
Now, again, because if it's going to cost you money or time, and you say it's impossible, well, then that's not really a specific goal that you should be looking at, because you already know you can't do it.
That's right.
Make sure that the goal is relevant to you, because if it's relevant to you, you know the why and you know what's going to keep you motivated to do it.
Exactly.
So that's important. But like Andrea, when she did her weight loss, she had it time bound. She knew by the end of the year she wanted to achieve a certain weight, and she did. Now, if she had achieved it earlier, that only made it better. But
Sure.
she knew specifically by a certain date she wanted to have her weight at a certain level.
That's right.
So make sure, and that's the same with your money. If it's by the end of the year, or if you say that you want to have $1 million in the bank and you're giving yourself 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but make sure you've got a timeline on that. It will help you.
Yes.
So ask for help if you need it, because people are always willing to help. Share it, but also reward yourself as you accomplish little goals along the way.
That's it.
Anything more you want to add, Andrea?
No, sounds good.
So we
Like
hope
I
you took a
said,
lot of notes, but if you
yes.
didn't, go
And
back
just
and
know,
watch it.
know you're worthy of accomplishing goals for yourself. It's not selfish to want to accomplish things for yourself, because when you feel good about yourself, you're much better for everyone around you.
That's true. Good way to end it, Andrea. So happy New Year. We hope that we're getting you on the right path for 2024, and it's the best year you're going to have yet.
Yay!
So until next week,
I'm
Linda.
Andrea. Oh, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Linda. And we hope you
like,
share,
share, and please subscribe.
thumbs up.
Till
We'll
next
see
week,
you.
ladies.
Till next week.
Bye.
Bye.